Okay, so after I made my last video of the explosives only on Ascension on Black Ops 1, it just had me thinking about this old challenge that I tried like a month ago, but I never made a video on it because I couldn't get far, like at all. I don't even think I got past like round 5 or 6. And it's grenades only on World at War Verruckt. This map has like 4 or 5 different grenade wall buys, but it's World at War Verruckt. So it's really, really, really hard, especially once those super sprinters start like showing up. It's just really hard to train and actually like kill them. And you don't get that many points with grenades, so it's really hard to actually get jug before those things show up. So I decided to try this again, but I honestly wasn't expecting much and was just hoping to maybe at least get to round 10. And I wanted to spawn on this side of the map because there's less doors to open before I can get jug. The other one has a much better training area, and there's a grenade wall buy in the first like room outside of it, but this one just has way less doors to jug, so I was prioritizing actually getting jug over having a better training spot, which I guess is a fair trade-off. I'll have jug earlier, but I won't have as good of a training spot, so that's what I was trying for this attempt. So the very early game of this challenge is basically just a race to try and get as many points as I can before round 6, because that's when the super sprinters show up. And if I don't have jug before they show up, there's a pretty good chance I'm just gonna die. After opening up some doors and getting close to power but still needing one more, I was starting to realize that even when I bought jug, there really wasn't much like to do, because I still need another 750 to get into the big training area. So I was starting to think maybe it'd be better to spawn on the other side and just train in that area until I can get power on and get jug in the later rounds. And so right here I died and was deciding that I would spawn on the other side next time. So spawning on this side is definitely pretty different from the other side because there's no grenade wall buy in the spawn, so you have to actually make sure you end round 1 with your 2 grenades, or you'll have no grenades left to end the round and you just have to restart. So I would always just get the entire horde of zombies in here and try and kill them with just 1 grenade, open that door, and then there's a grenade wall buy in there, and that's like the big area, and I would just try and stay in there until I could eventually open all doors and get jug. And after playing through like a round or 2 in here, I was like trying to think of in my head how many doors there were from this room to power and then to get jug. I was trying to think of how many points it would be, and I think there's 4 doors and plus jug. So I'm pretty sure my math is right. I don't exactly remember, but pretty sure it's like 6,000 points from this room to power and to get jug. So I would basically just have to grenade until I have like 6,000 points and can open all the doors and get jug. So it's definitely not really possible to get it before the sprinters come, but if you can get through like 1 or 2 rounds with them without jug, you should be able to get it. The early rounds on this are still pretty easy because you just kind of have to get them grouped up, and most aren't even running yet, they're just walking. So the early rounds are pretty easy, but once they all start running, that's when it becomes a lot harder. And as I'm ending round 5, round 6 is where the super sprinters will show up, and I have nowhere near enough to open all the doors and get jug, so I'm just gonna have to deal with them with no jug for at least a couple rounds. So at the end of this round, I thought I had enough to go get jug after opening all these doors, but my math, like as I was playing, was actually wrong, so I didn't have enough. So I was basically just going to have to go open up all the doors. Once I found out I didn't have enough, I just rebuilt barriers until I did have enough. So I rebuilt barriers for like 400 points, literally. So it was very lucky that the game let me do that. So I was like able to just rebuild barriers all the way to it and then kill 1 zombie and just barely have enough for jug. So that was very, very lucky. Now that I actually had jug, it was infinitely easier, and I would basically just run in circles in this room, and after like 1 or 2 grenades, most of the zombies would be crawlers, and so as long as I didn't just like get stuck on a crawler, I would most likely be able to get through the round. And the first part of the round, where like most of them aren't crawlers, was honestly the hardest part. As long as you can actually get to the point where they're all crawlers, you're probably going to get past the round as long as there's no late spawns. So I'm just going to try and save myself from some of the embarrassment in this clip, literally, and try to explain. I do die in this clip, but I don't know why. I've been having this problem where I just been lagging like crazy, and I'm playing offline, so I really shouldn't be. But like I've just been having like weird instances where my game like freezes for a second and then will unfreeze and like just like stutters like that. I don't know why. And also, I'm pretty sure I got down by 2 hits. Unless some of the hits didn't show up because my screen was frozen, I'm pretty sure I died in 2 hits. So after I took a minute to try and think of all the reasons of why I shouldn't slam my controller onto the ground, I started trying it again to get an attempt where I can actually get Jug and not die and try to get past round 10, because I felt like I actually could, since that last death was literally just because my game like froze for a second. And it still happened in this game where my game was like freezing randomly. I don't know why that happened, but I don't know how to fix it either. So this game I actually did get Jug and was doing well, but I was still having that weird lag issue, but I'm pretty sure it is fixed now. But also, if you're wondering why I wasn't buying any other perks, Quick Revive and Solo doesn't do anything in World at War. I don't think Double Tap affects your speed of throwing grenades, and obviously Speed Flow does nothing because I'm not even using guns, so Jug is really the only helpful perk for this challenge. There's also power-ups to talk about. Nukes are really helpful. Insta-kills are really helpful. Double points, helpful early game, not really now. Max ammos do nothing because I'm not using guns, and they don't refill your grenades in World of War. Or maybe it's just a knocked and Verruckt thing. I don't exactly remember, but they don't refill your grenades, so they're pretty much useless. An issue I was also running into this game is it would happen with the crawlers, like when there was crawlers and normal zombies like next to each other, or just a lot of crawlers would get like stuck in one area and wouldn't move. It's obviously just a World at War issue because this game is old and pretty buggy, but they would like get stuck in one area, and sometimes it would mess up my training because I'd go to like run through an area and there'd just be a bunch stuck in it. But luckily I was able to get past them most of the time. And if there was an instance where I wasn't necessarily able to just run through the zombies, I would just use the old prone trick that you can do in World at War, where you prone on the ground and zombies will miss their hits and you can crawl out of a situation. And at this point, I think I would have to buy maybe like grenades like 4 or 5 times mid-round. And then I ran into that issue that I talked about, where the zombies would just get stuck in an area and they trap me, and I was not able to prone out of it. And I tried a couple more times to get past this, and I just kept dying before I could get Chug, so I just got sick of it. This challenge is a nightmare, but thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe.